so excited to have our brother Ishan, who's going to be talking to us. Ishan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Nice to be here,
Good,
Jonathan.
good. Well, thank you for being here, Ishan. I'm fortunate enough to have the pleasure of seeing you every other week at one of our spiritual based discussions. And one of the things that is really impressive, especially having really, really good friends who are architects and interior designers, but I've also really appreciated the other aspects of yourself when you have talked about healing and consciousness. And I felt that is what has been an aspect of the light that you shine that is so bright. So, if you don't mind, can you start by sharing how this journey began for you?
I would be glad. So, it had been a journey of intense up and downs, definitely. So, uh, despite having this interior architectural background, I have this journey that made me who I am. That my life, my personal life, and in that life there were many facets that I experienced. Uh, some very strong experiences, and suddenly not too good experiences surrounding this uh, suffering, intense suffering that life presents to some people as the form of blessings through which they overcome and rise up in these levels of consciousness and to be able to serve others by seeing this suffering that exists throughout. And this dark night of the soul that I have experienced, these intense phases in the life, after coming through, they have this completely kind of reincarnated being a different person altogether. So it has been the same for me, but I had this intense experience, which literally I had lost my soul completely. It was like I was like a lifeless person. So
Hmm.
it was so intense, and it was began from a series of traumatic incidents, and like when I was like in the teenage times, and I had this developed this addiction towards substances, and I had experienced catalyst from those things, severe experiences from those things. Then further in the life, I have experienced uh, clinical depression, very intense depression, where I was completely hopeless, where I had no motivation to do anything or also live, life. Life was so damn gray, and psychosis. I was not able to think even a single thought straight. So it was like I was not even a human. I would like to say it as like this.
Wow.
So I was not even a human. So it was like I was living like the life of an insect kind of thing, like very primitive life. And I was like so much like like my life is the end and everything. And this was the hardest times of my life. And some also were intense traumatic episode, post-traumatic stress disorder that came with bullying, and I was like on this torture kind of chambers with really bad people, like really criminal people. I uh, found myself in such situations that really left me this kind of intense trauma, and I, by this discipline and like self-reflection and this healing, I knew that I persisted throughout all of these things that had been in my life, and I kept myself on living on, even though I sleep every night thinking that the next day I will wake up, with maybe I will get up with a good life, and it went on for days, for months, for years, and slowly but surely healing was happening, and I was persistent in living the life. And this all these experiences really made me appreciate and to be grateful of the simplest of things that we have in life, that we
Yeah.
take for granted, that to able to live a safe life, to be able to live a life where we can connect with each other, to be able to share, to able to have a thought in the mind, even that thing, I am grateful for this thing, to be able to be like a human. So I, in this process, healed myself and learned about all of those things which really made me come out from those things, like undoing this addiction and healing my mental distortions from this root level of your psyche. And psychotherapy, I was working on my own psychotherapeutic processes, and spirituality was a very much like a pillar. It was like a cornerstone that guided myself through all of these things.
You talked about psychotherapy for yourself. Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit about what you did, kind of what your process was, and how you were able to start to shift things to have a different perspective?
Yes. So psychotherapy involves various facets. Uh, so first of all, it involves this looking within and finding these distortions that are there. So it is not an easy thing, and specifically who is not aware of what kind of distortions are there and why are they feeling, what are they feeling. It is a very difficult thing to do. So I had spent a lot of time into like researching all of these things, studying, and also like taken some courses into these things. And yesterday only I just completed this clinic on trauma healing and psychotherapy, and I have also have some courses on trauma resolution, which was a purely hypnotic regression courses in which you guide the patients into this trauma resolution ways in which they go inside of themselves and look out for all these inner distortions and heal themselves up. So I had this background in this thing regarding my learnings and experiences. So you, by introspection and with the help of this guide, you reach this kind of inner distortion, and then there is this therapeutic processes. They are like different processes for the different types of distortions that are present. So there are like two basic types of distortions. There are distortions of allergy, in which you put a quality or kind of that distortion and you project it outwards. It is like you don't want that thing within yourself, and you project it so much outwards that it becomes an object inside of your consciousness that is haunting you out. That is that is creeping you out. So it may be a thing that you like, a certain quality that you don't like, and in your mind there are certain people that have those qualities and they are scaring you because you don't have those qualities and they have those qualities, and you projected that qualities inside of yourself onto themselves. So it is called
Mm.
dissociation. So it is called dissociation, and this process of healing this type of distortion is called re-owning. You re-own your aspects that is split in separation, and you become one with it, just like unity, this law of one.
Yeah.
you know
Wow. Thank you, Ishan, for getting into that. I appreciate it because what I'm seeing is over the course of while you're in this state of what you mentioned, like feeling as though you didn't have a soul, not having thoughts, addiction, maybe not hanging out with the best of people, and as you are in this state, you started to educate yourself, you started to implement the learnings from your education, and it seems like that may have been a roadmap to start escaping some of these dark times that you mentioned. Would you say that's correct?
Escaping these dark times would be a misnomer. I would rather say it. Embracing those dark times and actually transmuting those dark times, because the
Mm.
moment stays the same. It is your perception and the environment that you manifested in from yourself that is creating those issues within your life, and it is just transmuting those things. Definitely.
Mm. Okay, thank you. So since you shared again some of your background, some of the things you went through, and how you were able to take on the learnings and escape that mindset, but you also learned and experienced along the way and became an expert into some of these things. So can you please talk about your expertise?
So there are certain modalities that I am quite expert in. So one of them is my work in the inner planes, mental planes, and subtle energies. That involves like working with the patients and to get to uh, have them delve within their minds, and within those process, I guide them within themselves to all of those things that are causing issues, and it is they themselves guide them, and they themselves heal them, and I just become a catalyst in this process. So it is the thing. It is the most important thing in any healing. So I can only accelerate the process. It is by the individual's own will, and it's their own, ability to come through. It shines forth. I just, accelerate the process. So if an individual is not wanting to like it's kind of resisting, so like it is like sometimes some kind of difficult thing, but uh, it is a thing that can be worked upon definitely. So there are certain traumas which are very difficult to resolve, and it requires several sessions to dilute that trauma, because it is very strong charge that is held on in the mind, and within these several sessions it dilutes, and then you finally reach a kind of harmony within yourself. uh, and besides this psychotherapy thing, I have this expertise in integral framework and this life design, which is a total self-actualization framework. It is one of the best self-actualization framework in the world right now, and it actually is custom tailored to the any individual that I am, having in touch, interact with. So what it does is it first of all maps out an individual's current level of consciousness, and all of its, like various analysis, like total analysis of like where the present individual as, and its total identity of the self, and the various lines of intelligence within the self. And there are several lines of intelligence within the self. There is this cognitive line, there is emotional intelligence, there is this moral intelligence, there is this spiritual intelligence, there is this intrapersonal, there is willpower intelligence. Like I map up like all of those lines, and I create a map. I literally create a map for the individual, for that by consciously working throughout his developmental trajectory, that person can grow and evolve as a person, as a human being, evolve in consciousness. So it is intricate work. It takes a lot of to and fro. He definitely will have to like engage in with this thing, will with like literally in the discipline, with the willpower, constantly do the practices that are meant to be there, because every person would have different ups and downs within their life. So it would be a different set of practices for any individual who is coming forth, who is showing forth in this arena. So what is this thing doing? Is it is like it is tapping out the latent capacities and latent potential, emergence of the self that can shine forth, that is not yet shining due to the person is not knowing himself. So it is a journey of self-exploration. It is a journey of self-actualization. It is a journey of self-transformation. This human design with this self-actualization model.
And two, also because I saw, and we know that hypnosis is another something, as we talk, that has been widely beneficial for me and understanding what it is I am actually here to do. So if you don't mind, for people who are not familiar with the process of hypnosis and how it can go about self-actualization and understanding things that can help one spiritually progress, if you could just share a little bit about those things, hypnosis, and how it can be of help to someone.
So hypnosis is a definitively wonderful practice, which involves someone that, with the help of a practitioner, to be guided within his unconscious mind. So there are several layers of this mind. So mind is like a cake layers. There is this upper layer is the conscious mind, and then there is this subconscious mind, and then there is this unconscious mind that is in union with this whole connection, connected reality, one infinite creator. So uh, what this hypnosis does is that it guides the person into these deeper layers, deeper levels of consciousness, and within those levels of consciousness, the hypnotic practitioner guides, and I will guide those people into those constructs of realities that will facilitate healing. So there are several type of different kinds of hypnosis that is basically comes from what the individual wants to heal in himself. So there are different kinds of healings. There are like spirit guides healings that like they will be meeting with the spirit guides and they will be getting to know like what is actually happening with their life at this moment and what they can do to actually do better, or any kind of questions that they have in their mind, any kind of dilemmas that they are confused with, any kind of feeling lost that they are want to get clarity on. There is spirit animals, you meet your spirit animal in the hypnosis aggression, and you feel this energy, like this shamanic meditations. These are kind of the shamanic hypnotic sessions. And then there is a kind of totally custom tailored kind of meditations that are basically devised on the therapeutic practices, just like a chakra balancing session can require a hypnotic regression to actually heal those inner planes. So there are different planes of chakras. So to heal certain chakras, they may require, I would like me guiding them into this hypnotic regression and letting them experience this energy of each chakra in this full vibrancy, unblocking them, energizing them, and to actually unblock it from the root of its psychological level, because the energy of chakra manifest is not only this physical or energetic, but it is also related to the belief systems that are in the psyche. And
right.
I have all of these understandings related to this structures of consciousness, basically, with my background in this mystical Kabbalah, developmental models, and this energetic systems within the Indian traditions of chakras. So I have this overlapped understandings of how this relate to the whole anatomy of a human body and this energetic component. So getting into the beliefs, if I am having a problem in the yellow ray, in this Manipura chakra that is located at your navel, and if you only heal this thing energetically and you don't actually address that psychological aspect of that, it will re-emerge, that blockage will re-emerge.
It's going to come back.
Aim to, yeah, exactly, because it is not healed from this roots of his mind, it's not healed from the root of the soul. So I intend to heal those distortions from the roots of the souls. So the same is within this hypnosis is like a multifaceted practice. So in this energy healing, there is various layers of your energy. There is a different energy maps of your bodies. There is your skeletal body. There is your neurological body. Then there is this adrenal body. This glandular body, like where all your glands are situated. There is this muscular body, and there is like all different circulatory body. So I will guide the individual through all of those body maps, and I will like help them visualize like where there is like energy fluctuations, where there are blockages, and to heal them, to actually fuel those energies. So energy healing would be as much integrate as a definitive thing. So this thing will manifest, if it is like multifold thing that is happening on several layers of reality, that healing is like very much profound and very much efficient, I believe.
What I'm getting from that is that the healing is taking place on multiple levels, not only throughout the physical body, but also the chakra body, the etheric body. That way, as you mentioned, it is going to the root and not just addressing the energy, but not the psychological piece. It's addressing all the different layers, so it's either less likely or will not reemerge.
Obviously. And this thing is called integral healing. So all my healing practices would involve integral healing at multi-dimensional aspects. So I would not only doing these things only on a purely energetic. I am like rooted in this grounded reality in my practices.
Right. And so then you share, which is clear, the knowledge and expertise that you have. Can you maybe talk a little bit about, give an example of how you have actually helped someone?
Obviously. So I had met an aspiring entrepreneur. So with whom I had a interaction, and he came to me and he had his issues regarding his life, uh, that he was feeling lost, and he was not able to, like, find direction and purpose in life. So he had set up all of those things. He had this team and everything, and he has like also invested, like money in his startup, and he was like losing that money. So what happened in this process is that there were certain blockages in his ways that he was carrying out his team and carrying out his life, and uh, carrying out his inner self-talk. So there were certain blockages, and as throughout the process of several sessions, all of those emerged, and all I made him aware, and I also granted him the exercises which would help him create self-awareness of those triggers. Because what happens is that with every kind of distortion that exists within you, there is a trigger that triggers that distortion, and it enters into a chain reaction. So, like, if you are triggered in a cycle of a negative self-talk, like if you're seeing something that you did wrong, and what happened with that entrepreneur, like he saw something that he did wrong, and he went into a cycle of self-loathing, self-pitying behavior. So until he actually like wasted a whole day, he went into that kind of behavior. So suddenly, also with this team, what is happening that he got some feedback, and what happens is that he was unable to have this healthy boundaries, with his team. So he was like either like too much aggressive or too much passive. So also balancing those energetically, so it required him to get to know about those triggers. So first of all, I developed this self-awareness within that person, that uh, you need to journal first of all, whenever you are getting, even if the episode is ended of your negative behaviors, or the whole list of them showed up, and he wrote those and he worked upon them. And but what happened is that working on its self-awareness made him aware, like whenever that behavior showed up, he was able to like literally point it out. And with the coping tools that I provided later in this process, he was able to uh, gradually transmute those energies into ideal ones, progressively ideal ones. So definitely it was intensive work, which also requires his life design and energy healing within this being. And it was a process indeed. It was a wonderful experience for me too.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that example. And for people who are like, I'm interested, but this is new to me, and I'm somewhat kind of skeptical, what would you say to that?
Skepticism is natural. So it is like when it is we're talking about this metaphysical and energy healing practices, most of the people who live this in this objective realm of practicality and pragmatism, they don't feel like they mean a thing or something. So it is a thing that if you uh, approach it with an open mind and willingness to explore, so you will find that it is actually grounded in reality and practicality also. So healing is a deeply personal journey. So it's like something that has worked for someone and does not work for other people. So it is important to find a practitioner that you resonate with, and you give yourself time and space to explore the process. So I am always here to help anyone explore the effectiveness of the practices that I engage in. So these results can be profound, like if you actually are with a effective practitioner, and he actually does the magic, and like life changing, and it requires definitely sincerity and commitment.
Absolutely. Well, and then my last question would be like, as you have had all of these experiences that you were so kind and vulnerable enough to share, can you summarize what learnings you have had and what actionable insights and takeaways that you would like to share with our listeners that can help them on their path?
Definitely. So if I were to summarize, like, the thing that would lead everyone to this persistence, in this life would be, first of all, forgiveness is a very important thing. Acceptance and forgiveness. You need to, like, forgive yourself for whatever you have been through, even if it was not your mistake, and forgive yourself for whatever mistakes you have done. It is fine to do mistakes. Mistakes are process of life, and you need to accept. Acceptance. Is the second part that I would like to hear here. You need to accept, yourself and others, in whatever forms they are, because it is the truth. Like, holding grudges and negative charges will not, heal your life or will not change them. And the acceptance, for this clears this energy flow within your whole being, and within your own space, within your own minds. And this thing, acceptance and forgiveness, is a very heart-centered practice. And this heart-centered practice lays this foundation for all new things to emerge, because life is emergence, life is creation. If you are not letting go of what you're holding on so tightly, it will only burn your own hand. You don't need to burn your own hand. You need to let it go and let new things emerge, and to enjoy being the creator of the life, your own lives.
Mm. Ishan, thank you for that. Thank you for that. We again appreciate your time, your stories, sharing your expertise. So again, thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you so much for being on. And we hope everyone has a wonderful day.